Assalamu alaikum and welcome to this week's An Nur the Light. In our quest to bring you the best content possible, we travel the length and breadth of this beautiful country. This week, we hang out with serial business person Tahir Shah and get to know what drives him. Despite Muslims being a minority, South Africa has a booming halal foods industry. At the forefront of some of the larger restaurant chains' halal outlets is Mohammed Tahir Shah, an entrepreneur making waves in Durban's halal food market.
Getting into the food business, I started working at the early age of 13 or 14. Every weekend I used to go up. We had Steers and Debonair's in Lenasia, and that was the first that we had going to the food business. So that's how I started working. I was a cashier. I learned about going on deliveries and stuff like that. The generation prior to me, of course, they were not in food. My dad came from a corporate level where we had Philips Sound and Vision, which is TV and video, so we knew nothing about food. However, we branched into food at that time, and I think that's how we started the whole food empire.
Tahir now owns 4 restaurants in Durban and is closely involved in ensuring they produce quality halal food.
So I own 2 restaurants. I own the Spur for about 16 years now. Then I've got the Rockamamas, which I established last year September, which is the only halal one in KZN. And while I was studying marketing, the opportunity came up in Durban when the Spur, we had a partner, and actually it was an option for us to take over the entire business. And that's when I told my dad, I said, you know what, why lose something that's good? And that's how I actually took over the Spur business.
Tahir is a businessman's grown from strength to strength. And I think the important factor was that he started at the bottom as a waiter. Regardless that his father owned the business, he still had to do things from the bottom up. And I think that's set the foundation for his success.
We watched him grow through the business and starting to occupy managerial positions. Yeah, he's very much succeeded. As you can see, he's yielding lots of results. As I'm speaking now, we've nominated him to sit in the high committee for the halal. He's the guy we trust him with the halal menus, and he makes very serious executive decisions. Yes. Yeah.
A health-conscious Tahir also partnered with Joe Manju in creating a brand that serves healthy, gourmet halal food.
I established Fit Deli, which is a health business, online health business. So we do meal prep and healthy food. I was approached by a friend of mine, which is Joe Manju, and he came up with the concept of meal prep and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, you know what, if you do this, let's do it as a franchise. And that was my first thing that I created as a franchise. The logos, the theme, the whole look of what the business is portrays how expensive a brand is, or is it really worth anything?
He had looked to expand it into the retail sector. I have a business that actually is on the distribution side of things. So we had merged and come together, and I'm involved with him on the one venture to expand it into the retail market with my customer base and network. And we do our utmost best to ensure that we conform to Islamic and principles. We were fortunate to be in a Muslim school, so dealing and trading the Islamic way, the Muslim way, had been instilled in us.
Moving away from the food industry, Tahir saw the opportunity to start yet another company that would not only deal with his PR needs, but offer a list of marketing services with a difference.
I spent a lot of money with other marketing agencies, and I think they give you the same thing over and over. And I wanted to be out of the box. Normally you brief them and they give you what you brief, and that's it. So I approached a cousin of mine and another one, and I said, you know what, would you guys be keen on this? And let's create something that's out there and unique. From a marketing point of view, the idea is to be out of the box and to be different. People are so used to the normal newspaper articles that's there and the normal TV ad that's going out and stuff like that. But the world's changed. And I think now as youth, I might have missed the boat a little bit, but I mean, I'm getting myself back in to understand what's the new social scene that's behind everything.
Restaurateur, businessman and entrepreneur, Tahir uses his experience and knowledge to empower upcoming entrepreneurs through programs at the Manara Chamber of Commerce.
We want to try to establish business with the youth that's there and help them and assist them going forward. Of course, there is mutual benefit. It's mutually beneficial on both ways, on how we establish their business. So I think that's the avenue that I'm creating, and I think it's a good avenue. The idea is to generate income for both of us going forward, and to do it in the correct way instead of making mistakes. We've made mistakes over time. We spent millions of rands doing things that were not the right thing to do. Now it's to guide them and advise them which is the right way to go with their business. Wherever Allah wants me to go next now, or whatever is put on the table, inshallah, in the future, is I'd look at it now and see how I can grow in that capacity.
Muhammad Tahir Shah certainly believes in making the most of each opportunity. Staying true to Islamic principles in business, he goes forward with a vision to create an empire and empower other entrepreneurs to do the same. Modest fashion continues to grow as more and more Muslims embrace it. We head to Cape Town for this week's Street Style.
My personal style is a mixture of old school and kind of simple in a way. So for me, simplicity is very beautiful.
I like to buy pieces or even make pieces that I can keep for a long time. This sort of thing will never date. Okay, maybe the neon sneakers, but furthermore, everything else.
I wouldn't say it's like very unique because, I look like anyone else who's walking in the street wearing hijab. But it's basically just covering up, yeah.
The outfit I'm wearing, this is a voluminous top that I'm wearing, voluminous blouse, and then also straight cut chino kind of pants. And this represents who I am. I like the old school kind of look, and then also the wide sleeves, and like the contrasting colors as well.
I like this look of half formal, and then I paired it up with these new sneakers, which is the fly knits from Nike. So they're quite, I like them, they feel like a sock. And then also my colors, you can see black and white. So I like classic color and styling.
I'm wearing khakis and sneakers. I'm wearing pants because I don't like dresses, but I do wear dresses. But I prefer pants over dresses. I'm wearing this throw because it's nice and long, so I really like it because it covers everything. And my scarf.
Dina Tokyo, she's very famous on Instagram, and I also see a few local Muslimas that are also quite stylish, but I'm not kind of inspired by the style. I would go with my own style with what I like.
I like to be on trend with certain key pieces. I don't follow all the trends. Even as a designer, I don't jump at every fashion trend that comes.
I don't always keep up with the trends of today, and it's quite difficult with hijab because the latest trend is short stuff and all that. So it's not really important. I just wear whatever I have and just make it look more stylish.
Nature brings with itself its own peace and tranquility. We explore this topic more by looking at people who interact with it on a daily basis. Taking care of the natural environment is firmly embedded in the teachings of Islam. As communities developed over the centuries, human beings have become more and more disconnected from their natural environment. Reconnecting with nature, however, is imperative, as this helps Muslims appreciate what Allah has created.
I've obviously developed a love for this. You can see there's a link between whatever is around here, in the surroundings, the trees, the grasses, the birds, the water. There's a link with the Creator. That's one of the main reasons why I'm involved in this. You can see the greatness. And whatever we talk about, be it a blade of grass or in insects, there's millions of insects. There's always a lesson to take from them. So part of it's about humbleness. It teaches me respect. It teaches me how to be humble, how to be more concentrated and focused in life. There's so many lessons that you can take from here.
ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
Faisal Esop is an accountant by trade, a freelance field guide for the South African National Parks, and is also pursuing Islamic studies part-time at Jamia Al-Ulum Al-Islamia. He is most at home in nature when he leads groups and gives talks about Islam and nature.
Today I've got a group of very excited and passionate youngsters who want me to take them on a nature walk, and we're going to be doing a little bit of let's call it a camp, a half-a-day camp. So we're going to be showing them how to set up a tent, and we're going to be explaining to them how to save water and how to tell direction with the sun, and many different other aspects we'll be discussing. We'll be doing a hike, which is what we came here for, out in nature to enjoy. And in the hike we'll be discussing the different flora and the fauna and the different animals also that we will encounter. The color green tends to have a very peaceful and calming effect on the mind. That's why you can see this morning this place is quite full. I've never seen it quite full like this. I normally come on a Sunday afternoon with my family just as a getaway. But you can see many people are exercising and then they go back into their normal life.
At Al-Fari's stables, interaction between humans and animals are encouraged. Horses specifically are well regarded in Islam, and for owner Ibrahim Mutara, there is no better animal to get to know.
Everything around us is in connection with nature, with the Almighty. I mean, it's for us to be in farming it's a pleasure. It reminds us continuously about our Creator. To be in nature, to be in the outdoors, to be in the countryside, to be able to see the different greens, to be able to see the animals, to be able to be working with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention as well. If one wants to see the greatness of Allah, then look at the greatness of His creation.
The farm also offers lessons in archery and horse riding. Ibrahim believes in teaching children from a young age to respect nature.
Alhamdulillah, we teach from the Sunnah point of view. We teach horse riding, which is a great Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which the Prophet ﷺ's companions themselves, they always to be involved in riding horses, own horses, train horses, and so on. So alhamdulillah, this is what we're trying to inculcate to our youngsters. Horse riding not only creates balance, but it also creates discipline. So if one is disciplined, then obviously you're going to be disciplined. Outside of your riding, you should be disciplined at home and disciplined at school and obviously in your madrasa and in your day-to-day business. One should be disciplined. One should uphold the morals of Islam and uphold the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ.
Maybe the best way to start reconnecting with nature is by getting physically close to it. To find our right place within Allah's creation, we need to realize its grandeur. Assuredly, the creation of the heavens and the earth is a greater matter than the creation of men, yet most men understand not. Surah Ghafir 40:57. Surah Furqan, verse 74, is the topic for our tafsir with recitation by Qari Kharith.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين يقولون ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما أولئك يجزون الغرفة بما صبروا ويلقون فيها تحية وسلاما خالدين فيها حسنت مستقرا ومقاما صدق الله العظيم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you. The beautiful recitation addressed verses from Surah Al-Furqan, verses 74 to 76. It speaks of the choicest servants of the All-Merciful, the fact that they live righteous lives and at the end of the day they pray and turn to Him seeking aid and assistance. One of the calls that they constantly are heard making is that of good spouses, good family members, that they be good to those that they are blessed with and that they find peace in their relationships with their spouses and their offspring, and that they are able to lead by example. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Grant us the ability to be leaders of those who are conscious of you. Not just any leaders, but leaders towards righteousness and leaders towards wholesome existences. The Creator then says that these people understand that perseverance is what is required. Perseverance is what is required. And as a result, after having persevered, they will be rewarded for their efforts. وَيُلَقَّوْنَ فِيهَا تَحِيَّةً وَسَلَامًا. And after all the possible toil and trial and effort, they will be welcomed with words of peace and happiness. خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا, in which they will abide forever, and their spaces will be those of eternal bliss and calm. May we be of those who understand that our existence here is based on effort. Our existence here is so as to prepare ourselves for what is to come. We are here to work. We are here to produce. We are here to make something of our lives. We are here to make something of our lives. Leave a mark on the world, leaving it a better place, and persevering until we see some positive change. May we all be proponents of change, positivity, and light for those who we interact with. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
During winter, the standard dish in many households is a warm bredie. Lamise knows this and has decided to share her sausage bredie recipe with us.
Assalamu alaikum. With winter on our doorstep, all that you crave is that warm, comforting food like a stew or a bredie. And today I'm going to be sharing with you my sausage bredie recipe. And the ingredients that you need to make it are the following. I've got 2 large tomatoes that I've chopped finely. I've got 4 potatoes, and I'll quarter these later and brown them. I've got 1 kilo of sausage. In this case, I've used Dania sausage, but all the varieties that you have out there today, use your preference. I've got sugar for taste. I've got 2 large onions finely chopped. I've got 50 grams of tomato paste, which is essentially 1 little tin or a packet of tomato paste. I've got salt to taste. I've got oil for frying, and my favorite ingredient, which is the green chili. Use as many, as much, or none if you like. So now that my pot's nice and warm, I'm going to add some sunflower oil. You need enough oil to make sure that your onions saute nicely. And to make sure that we get the maximum benefit out of our chili, this is the part where I'm just going to halve. I'm leaving all of the pips in, 3 chilies, and these are a serrano chili. So they pack quite a punch, but not too much. I'm leaving all of my seeds in, and these are just to, it's nothing like bredie that's got sweet and a little bit of heat. And I'm putting these in now so I can get the maximum benefit out of my chili. And to make sure that my onions saute fairly quickly, I'm adding a pinch of salt. And that just helps your onions to caramelize a lot faster because it allows all the moisture to get out. So now that my onions are lightly browned and sauteed, I'm going to add my tomatoes. And our tomato paste. And what you want now is for this to really start getting to know each other and meld in flavor. You want your tomatoes to almost cook away. And just to help that process along, I'm just going to add a bit of water. So all that I'm going to do now is turn the heat down and let this gently cook away until it forms the nice base of our bredie. What I'm going to do is heat up my pan. And in my pan, I'm going to start frying off my sausage because there's nothing worse for me than grey sausage on a dreary day in my pot of food. So in goes my oil. And when you start putting your sausage in, make sure that you don't overcrowd your pan because once you do that, it really starts to cook the sausage and all we're wanting to do at this point is brown it. So now that my pan's nice and warm, I'm going to start putting my sausage pieces in, a few at a time, making sure there's enough space around them so that they just brown. I just feel that this also allows the sausage to maintain its integrity and flavor in your bredie and it doesn't just lose itself entirely in the sauce. And just when it starts to color like that, that's when you start to turn it over. Because remember, we're not cooking the sausage, we're just getting that nice brown crust on them. So these are looking nice and brown. So I'll start taking them out. And just keep doing this until you've done all of your sausage, and then we'll do the potatoes. So now that the last of my sausage is done, in the same good brownness, delicious brownness in this pan, what I'm going to do is start frying off my potatoes. So I'm going to just cut these into quarters. Depending on the size of your potato, you would either quarter or halve them, but you want these to cook quite quickly. So I like them in smaller chunks. And just using the same flavoring of the sausage and the oil, tossing my potatoes and give these just a light sprinkling of salt. And we're going to let them brown. I'm just going to add a splash of water just to deglaze my pan. And I'm just going to put this to one side because I can smell that my tomato smear is about good to go. So I'm going to shift it over. Now what we need to do is add the sugar. Now, lots of people just add a touch of sugar to take the edge of their tomato, but to me, sausage bredie needs to be like a tomato bredie. It needs to be sweet and strong, so I add quite a bit more sugar than most would. And now I'm going to add my sausage back to this. If at this point you think you need some more water, bear in mind when your sausage starts to cook, it's also going to emit a lot more water, so I wouldn't just yet. So my sausage goes back in. And last but not least, those potatoes that we've just browned, and add it with the water that's left in your pan from deglazing it. It's just the flavors you're adding back to it. So all of this gets a good stir through. Pop your lid back on. Let it simmer for a few minutes just until your potatoes are soft. And that's when you start to butter your white bread and you get ready to eat. And now that your potatoes are soft, all that you need to do is butter some fresh white bread and tuck in. So until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Nothing says comfort food more than that lovely dish. Simple, yet wholesome. You can get the recipe on our Facebook page and watch the dish being made on our YouTube channel. Details are on screen. Time to head on out. Assalamu alaikum from me, Zahra Robinson.